You're listening to the Film Slice Podcast, where we review movies and stuff, and Jordan sometimes takes off his top. Hey team, Angus Dragon here, and welcome to the Film Slice Podcast. I'm here, as always, with my co-hosts, Kane Diggly Wiggly Kane Dogs, and Bro Diddly Doo Richardicus Richards.
Actually, I thought of an incredible spin-off I was going to talk to you about before we started.
We've already started too late. What is it?
It was going to be me being like, hey team, you're here with Jordan Kane and my two co-hosts, Angus Diddly Wiggly Strachan or whatever, and people would just be really confused. But no.
Well, yeah, they'd be really confused because, like, wait a second, Jordan doesn't do anything.
Jordan doesn't contribute. Hey team, Jordan Kane here, and you're listening to the Film Slice Podcast. I'm here, as always, with my two co-hosts, Angus Giggly Wiggly Strachan and Brodie Diddly Richards.
See,
how you going,
it's
team?
It's hard.
It's really difficult
to make up names on the spot.
It kind of is. Anyway, how you going, mate?
Yeah, good. I'm going super, Broadman.
Fantastic. Hey, don't take the MC back off of me.
Sorry.
Brodie, how are you? How are you, Brodie?
You know what?
Moving on. So today we are reviewing Pacific Rim Uprising.
This is going to be an interesting podcast.
Yeah, this is gonna be an interesting.
Angus, when did you see it, and what did you think?
Kane Dogs, do you want to hit us up with an IMDb summary?
Angus, do you want to hit us up with an IMDb summary?
No,
All right.
You got this. This is your thing.
Jake Pentecost, son of Stacker Pentecost, reunites with Mako Mori to lead new generations of Jaeger pilots, including rival Lambert and 15-year-old hacker Amara against their new kaiju threat.
Super duper, starring John Boyega
and Scott Eastwood, the son of Clint Eastwood.
Really?
Yeah.
There you go.
Did you not know that?
Actually, he kind of, now...
He looks exactly like Clint Eastwood.
Now, looking back on it...
Did neither of you know that?
No.
I watched the whole thing being like, it's Clint Eastwood.
I just didn't pay attention. Yeah, cool. You boys know how every week I put up on Twitter the movie that we're reviewing and ask everyone in the atmosphere what they think of the movie.
And then no one replies, and
no one replies.
On.
Guess what?
What?
We got two.
I tried to reply and it didn't let me, and I gave up.
How did it not? How could you not reply?
I still don't quite know how Twitter works.
No, God. It could have been three. First review is from Nathan Clinic.
Okay. Don't know who that is.
Classic. It must be. It sounds Norwegian. But he says, "How much of the city can they destroy this time before it collapses the economy?" I read that wrong, but you got the general gist. I should have said, "How much of the city can they destroy this time before it collapses the economy?"
This is why people don't write in. It without going into spoilers, but obviously things get destroyed in this movie.
It's in the trailer.
It feels very Man of Steel, where they're just like a lot of people died in this movie.
So much collateral damage.
So many people died.
So much collateral.
I agree with a small little biscuit on the end. I feel like Superman actually cared about the people in the city. Whereas I feel like the people piloting the Jaegers in this film did not give a fuck.
Nah, definitely not.
Anyway, we'll get there.
And we've got another reply from Connor Kelly saying, "No metal bending, 0 stars."
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that an
Avatar joke?
Last Airbender joke?
That's what I thought.
If it is, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
And in fact, let's change the name of this podcast to the Avatar: The Last Airbender podcast.
I would have to watch a lot. I think I only watched half of the movie that came out.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, don't watch the movie.
No,
fucking hell.
We're not reviewing the movie.
That's probably why I only watched the first half.
We can just review an episode a week.
Building bending.
Building bending? Is that a thing? That's the fifth thing in Avatar? I don't know.
Oh, yeah. It's
Bend
water,
buildings.
Earth, fire, air, and then building things.
Yeah. Chippy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Super chippy.
Yeah, I can...
That's also what Smith's chips are bringing out. That's their next rollout is
the super chippy. It's just a single chip.
Yeah.
It's a very big
massive,
fucking chip,
We've gone off on a tangent.
It's a chip the size of a dinner plate. It's about 5 mil thick.
But I would like to say thank you to those of you who did tweet us on Twitter. If you want to tweet at us what movie we're reviewing next, we should probably actually end episodes on what movie we're reviewing next so people can decide.
Yeah. We know this time.
Thank you very much, Native Cynic and Connor Kelly. That was very, very nice of you to leave those little
little
comments.
You can reach us on Twitter at film_slice_pod.
How many times
nailed it?
How many times do we plug
bloody
ourselves in
nailed it.
this? Like 3 or 4 times a podcast?
Yeah, but I only choose one to put in the actual podcast.
Right. Well, you'll do it at the end.
Yeah, you
Cane Dogs. When did you see the movie? And what did you think?
When did you see the movie? What did you think? Do you like the movie? None of the shit.
I saw it last night.
Nice one. What did you think?
I saw it last night with the GP. The GP.
Saw it last
With
night.
his
Whoa.
general practitioner doctor.
Yeah, that's a close.
That's a
that is a
special
friendly
relationship,
relationship right there.
I saw it with my GP, not
Yeah.
my GF.
Okay, you saw it
I
last
saw
night.
it last night.
with
I was
your
very-
doctor.
I saw the late session. I saw like the 9 p.m. So I was tired whilst watching it. I enjoyed the first movie a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fan of the first movie. I enjoyed this one, but I think it's definitely worse than the first one, and I think this one actually got worse as it went on.
Angus, Angus, what do you? When did you see the movie? What did you think?
I saw the film 3 or 4 days ago, quite a while ago, and to be honest, I forgot that I watched it. It was quite forgettable. I didn't really enjoy it at all. It wasn't my kind of romp.
Fair enough.
And yes, I haven't seen the first one. So
First one's
maybe
better.
that played into it a bit. But Roadman, when did you see the movie? What did you think?
I also saw it last night, although not as late.
Did you see it with your GP?
My GP, yeah, saw it with my GP, but yeah. What did I think?
What you think?
I thought it was a little bit less than fine.
And Broadman, have you seen the first one?
I did see the first one.
Yeah.
What do you think of the first one?
I thought the first one was okay.
I liked it.
Is it directed by the same bloke? No, different fella. Yeah. Broadman, we'll start with you. Would you recommend it, and who'd you recommend it to?
I would recommend it to anyone who was a huge fan of the first one. I don't think it's not as good as the first one, and I wasn't a huge fan of the first one. But I think if you wanted more of that world, then you can have more of that world. Yeah. Other than that, it doesn't really do anything kind of new or amazing.
Cane Dogs. Would you recommend it, and who'd you recommend it to?
I would recommend it. I agree with Brodie that if you're a fan of the first one, you'd probably enjoy this one. Also, if you're a fan of any Transformers movie, any of that, this is a step up, I believe, from any Michael Bay film. Anybody who enjoys a light action film, I'd probably send this their way.
I would recommend it to anyone who enjoyed the last 5 Transformer movies.
Yep.
Well,
that's fair.
I hated the Transformer movies, all except the first one, only based on nostalgia at this point, and I still really like Pacific Rim.
Yeah, but I'm saying that if you did, you would definitely like Pacific Rim.
Yeah, probably.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's definitely not much depth to it. I will say that. But I would say it's probably safe to take your kids.
My girlfriend's favourite aspect of this was Scott Eastwood, the hunky blonde handsome dude who's somehow always wearing a dirty white shirt.
Okay.
So if you've got a missus, take her, she'll enjoy it.
Yeah, and if you've got a mister and you're a missus, you can probably con your boyfriend into seeing it.
Yep.
Because there's big robots, and then you get to see...
You get to see Scott Eastwood just in a dirty white t-shirt for ages. Yeah.
Yep. Cool. Heading into spoilers. Sound the spoiler alarm.
Cool sound effect, Angus.
As always, we're going to start off with the positives, because if we start with the negatives, we're going to feel very
I'm going
blank.
to start with you trying to tell us what you thought the first movie is about.
Yes.
Having not seen the first movie, using the information given to you in this, I thought it would be interesting to see whether you could create the first movie.
So I'm going to say that the movie starts off with the monsters coming in, and they have to build these Jaegers for the first time, maybe, or they try and.
I won't interrupt you until you're done.
Okay, so they're trying to figure out this whole technology, and for some unknown reason, only 2 people can pilot it, which is fucking dumb. And basically they go and fight these massive monsters. they destroy a whole lot of like national icons or international icons, like Bridget, like, you know, the Westgate Bridge or Bridge. That's, I mean, not a lot of the world knows about Melbourne's Westgate Bridge to Geelong.
No, Angus, you're right. They destroyed the Westgate Bridge to Geelong.
So the first film takes place in Melbourne, Australia.
Yeah, in Melbourne, Australia, in Geelong.
And they destroyed, which is the only reason that in this one they go to Sydney.
Go to Sydney, yeah. I actually enjoy Sydney. But basically that happened, and then Idris Elba, being the babe that he is, he sacrifices himself to close the rift between the alien whole and Earth.
Okay, can I tell you what the first movie is about?
Go for it.
It opens by saying, these monsters came, and so we built a giant bunch of robots. So you don't see any of that. That's how the film starts. The film isn't about any of that happening. It just starts with a monologue saying, aliens started showing up, destroying cities, and we've already built all these robots.
The aliens got bigger, and so we made the Jaegers bigger.
But they didn't.
Yeah.
We don't see any of that being built. Idris Elba is maybe in the first movie for 10 minutes. He's not the main pilot. He is like the colonel. And the main pilot is Charlie Hunnam. The story follows Charlie Hunnam as pilot who doesn't want to be pilot.
Wait, so is Idris and Charlie like their partners in the Jaeger?
No. Idris Elba only steps into a Jaeger in the last 5 minutes of the film, and he's like the old sea colonel that would never step back into a Jaeger, and he finally steps back into the Jaeger at the last moment, and he closes the rift with the help of the main character who does the main saving. And for some reason, this has nothing to do with any of the main characters of the first film.
Okay. Well, yeah, okay.
Fair. Yeah, oddly enough, the first film...
So it's pretty much the exact same as this film.
Yeah, which is what I was thinking.
Nice. That's good.
Anyway, sorry.
Except no one dies
with less character interaction for the first half of the film.
I was just thinking, because this film spends so much time glorifying Idris Elba's character and, like, you know, making him...
It really did, yeah.
And I'm like, he's only in the first film. He does give, like, we're cancelling Judgment Day or whatever. He's maybe in the film for like 10 minutes though. He's not a big character.
I saw the start of the movie, and I was like, Idris Elba was like the main character of the last one. Yeah, I might actually watch that.
Angus, what was some of the good things or your favourite part about this film?
It was fun enough. I think it was like, I don't know. There wasn't a lot of standout stuff. For me, I really like the baby Jaeger, whatever that one was called. Scrapper. I really like Scrapper.
I really like the intro to Scrapper with the big Jaeger, and it's like, come on, seriously?
Yeah. I just can't remember the film that much.
All right.
It's just not that memorable for me.
I'll tell you something. I liked.
Go, Bro-Bean.
I liked John Boyega being a thief at the beginning.
Yeah, I liked that.
I liked that. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to feel about this, but then kind of like after I watched the rest of the film, I was like, okay, I actually like John Boyega being a thief. And I was like, I could have just watched a film of him being a thief.
Mm-hmm. I really love the scene, and you would have found this very confusing when him and the girl try to do that mental bond.
Meld.
And she gets stuck in this memory of hers. One of the things the first film does incredibly is show scale. It depicts exactly how big these robots and monsters are, and that makes it terrifying when you see it. And I think this film didn't do that as well. But in that memory, where she gets like splattered with some water, there's no sound in the background of that scene. It's just her, some water hits her, and it even is shown as seeming a little bit refreshing because it looks like a hot day. And then when she turns around, and then the sound of just the monster coming out of the water.
Yeah.
Right before the family gets killed, because it's almost a comedic step.
Yeah.
I thought that shot by itself was great. Charlie Day, I really like.
Remind me who that was.
Charlie Day was the bad guy, kind of. Charlie Day was the scientist who's being mind controlled.
Yeah.
He plays a decent enough progression of where he is in the first movie, because him and the partner are quite big in the first movie, and he does mind meld with like a kaiju and finds out where their base is, and then in this film you find out that they've kept that link between him, and now they're using him to control. I really liked that part where he's sort of threatening his friend, and he's swapping between talking about first person and third person. And when he's talking in first person, he's saying that he's just not strong enough. Like, he's really sorry. He's simply not strong enough to fight him off. And he does it again, not very deep, but just deep enough for me to enjoy it. I also think his brand of comedy shines a little bit in this, because it just needs a little bit something other than just witty comebacks. He brings like an awkwardness to it, like when he's trying to learn the language and all of that. Or like, he gets given a deadline and then he's like, well, you're going to make the deadline or you're fired. Or you'll get a promotion. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I really appreciated him.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked the world that they've built, because sometimes it can be really tricky if you're going to do...
You mean Sydney?
No, not just the whole, 10 years since all these monsters came and went, there were these giant robots and they've gone. And now, some places have bothered rebuilding, other places have been abandoned, and that's where people just hang out. Some people are stealing scrap to try and, build their own amalgamation of robots, whether it's just to, rob a bank or just because they think it's cool. I really like that kind of... Because realistically, firstly... No one says giant robot, no one's first port of call of defense is we'll make a giant robot. But presumably if that happens and then that goes in the past, people will still be trying to make him. Some people have rebuilt. I just really like that kind of world that they built, and I really like that the military base is sort of looked upon as this is more a shrine to a war that's finished.
Yeah.
And other people think it's really necessary and should be kept up to date.
I did enjoy that.
I agree with you saying the world. I did like that. I just think I would have preferred if they kind of set this film in that world instead of going back to we're fighting the kaiju. If they just made this film is in the same world, but instead of us fighting kaiju, it's about this thief who meets this girl who builds a Jaeger, and they decide to build a Jaeger together.
I think that'd be good as a spin-off film, not a sequel. Because I think if the first film is
this is a spin-off.
It's a sequel. They're already in talks.
Sounds like the exact same movie, really.
Yeah, it's definitely a sequel. I would enjoy that as a spin-off being set in the world, but I think if I saw the first film and then I saw a second film and it just had a tiny Jaeger in it and no man, and that was all, I'd be disappointed.
But I think that's the problem that Hollywood's getting into, is if they're doing a sequel to a movie, it always has to be bigger and better and bigger and better and bigger and better.
I wouldn't mind if they went
a step back and
if they went smaller. But
I wish it was just a different look on this world, because this film is just the same as the first one.
I'd like it.
We've got to stop the kaiju because they're going to open a portal and the world's going to end. And it's and wait, did I just describe the first film or the second?
Yeah, I feel like we might wrap up positives then and head into the negatives.
Yeah.
Cane Dogs, you enjoyed the movie the most, probably, out of the three of us.
That being said,
you've got a lot of negatives.
I do. There's one scene where, and as you were talking about, Brodie, this would have been the change that I would have appreciated in the film, where all of the Jaegers are down, except one. There's 4 kaijus, and then they're they get the chick over and they're you've got maybe 6 hours before all the kaijus reach this place. And then they talk to the doctor and they're even if we manage to make him, how will we get there? And he's I've got thrusters. In theory it could work. And what does in theory mean? And he goes, it means yes. And then it turns into a weird Pimp My Ride trailer, where it's a weird montage of everybody building robots.
Worst montage I've ever seen in any film, by the way. It's 3 clips, and in all of them they're doing nothing.
Yeah,
it's what is this montage?
It's and then weird, weird music that has all of the music in this is all background symphony music, and then in this weird montage it turns into weird watered down rap, and then presumably in the period of 6 hours, 3 people made 4 Jaegers.
Yeah, it was a weird thing.
And then built rockets, presumably. It was just, I really, I have negatives about a lot of it, but all the way up to that scene, I thought first half was great, and then when he's this time it means yes.
There is
and it turns into a weird montage, and I was what has happened to this film?
You do have to give it a few liberties, because
Absolutely.
it is it's a kid's film, and not a kid's film, but it is it's a make-believe thing. This would never happen.
And
there's better ways to fight giant monsters.
That goes against my core rule: no liberties.
No.
For anything, not even just films.
No.
Yeah, right.
Brody won't let anyone sit in his seat, regardless of how pregnant they are. Angus, no liberties.
Fair enough.
She should learn to stand.
She should have got there earlier.
Anyway,
fair.
I went in expecting this film to be what I got. So for the first half, I've got problems. Like, they killed they destroyed so many buildings.
Yeah. Heaps of collateral, but look, it's fine.
Some corny lines, some very some 2D characters. But past that part where it turns into a weird montage, everything got worse.
Yeah.
Everything got so much worse. So quick. And there's a very specific scene where the good doctor, I'll just say the good doctor, I can't remember his name, the guy with cane, and the woman who created all the drones are in one secret base somewhere. And then it's literally one scene where they're talking to Scott Eastwood's character and is like, get here as soon as you can. And they're like, we'll be there as soon as we can. The next scene, they walk through the door. They're like, we're here. And I'm like...
We were next door.
Where were you?
We've got company. No. All these drones. Oh, wait. It's just the people that told us they were coming.
Yeah.
But, it was next scene. Like, they were like, we'll get there as soon as we can. The next scene, they walk through the door. I'm like, were you just a level up? Like, is the base just next door? What?
Yeah.
So what I would have preferred for this film, instead of them going into that weird montage, is there's 5 kaiju and the only ones that's left is Gypsy, and maybe Scott Eastwood's character's leg gets injured during, and so it's John Boyega's character and the younger girl have to pilot Gypsy together and fight all of these kaiju, and I would have preferred that. Would have stepped it up. I still want a robot fight alien movie. That's what they told me I was going to see. It's dumb, but I want to see it again. So step it up by giving me one Jaeger versus 6 kaiju or something. I would have been happy.
Yeah, or if instead of them rebuilding 4 Jaegers, they put all of their concentration onto Gypsy.
Yeah,
and they're like, well, let's
just make a mega Gypsy.
We'll hook up the second power core, so Gypsy's just this huge thing with a shield.
Yeah, or they power ranged it and destroyed the other
If
Jaegers
they took
and
all of
put
the
them
weapons
all
from the other
on.
bits and put it onto.
I would have. That would have
been sick.
Yeah,
freaking wicked.
What I was so I got a lot of problems. So one thing, the fight scenes in these films, I hate them so much because there's always something where it's like, by the way, it can do this. Yeah. And it's only doing it now.
And you're like, why didn't they do that earlier?
That was one of my biggest problems in the first one. The first one, they fight the entire film, right? Gypsy Danger fights the entire film. In the second last fight, he gets his sword out and kills it in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
In the rest of the film, he just punches it. He's just punching kaiju. He punches another kaiju.
Yeah.
He punches another kaiju. There's another kaiju who's like, how are we going to defeat this one? I have a sword. I killed it in 2 seconds. And it's like,
why did you bring that out?
And I feel like it was the exact same thing in this film. Every time they were like, but wait, I can do this. And it was just like, oh my God.
That's specifically
the kaiju reflects. The kaiju reflects anything that gets thrown at it back at the people who throw it. It's like, okay. So what are you gonna do? I'm gonna throw stuff at it. It's like, okay, wait, what?
Did it have? Yeah. Did Gypsy have the gravity thing in the first one?
Ooh.
Because there's
I think he did.
Because there's a scene in this movie where a kaiju's coming towards him, and he's running backwards and just tearing down buildings,
killing thousands of thousands of people.
Dude, you're doing more damage than the. Just let the kaiju pass.
That's exactly the same as that should have just built it up, right?
Yeah,
the kaiju that absorbs energy and reflects it back at people. If kinetic energy hits it with these buildings falling on it, should have just made it stronger and then reflected it back at him. If they're not gonna all work together to take down this giant monster, then that at least one of them should feed out some interesting way to take out the monster, other than just dropping something on it from 10,000 feet or whatever.
You know what would have been better?
Because it was my same issue with the first one, where they don't end the film with a fight.
Yeah,
it's my same issue. It's like we're gonna blow up and close the hole. It's like, we're gonna drop this Jaeger from 10,000 feet and kill this thing. It's like, this is a film about giant robots fighting giant aliens, and you're not going to end the film with an epic fight.
Yeah.
It's are you kidding me? And it happened in both films.
Or better yet, instead of making all of these rockets to put on each thing, make all these rockets, give it to Gypsy, have Gypsy run over to the giant kaiju, strap all of the fucking rockets to the kaiju and just shoot it off to
send
fucking
him up to
space.
space.
Like, shoot the fucking thing off.
I think my biggest issue is just the fight scenes just aren't good. And in a film that's
That's built around
their
it.
premise. That's their only the thing.
Yeah. My main problem with the movie is that the concept is just dumb. Like,
that's
just like it's not Sharknado dumb where you can laugh at it.
Yeah.
Like it's laughable, but they're acting as if it shouldn't be. Like,
But that's not a critique of the movie.
yeah, it is.
That's a critique of the premise.
Of
The movie.
But if I tell you that I hated the Romeo and Juliet movie because the premise of it is dumb, then it's not a critique on the film.
Yeah.
Well,
it is because it's writing.
Yeah, was Uprising a Shakespearean play before?
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
It was a Shakespearean
good on
play.
you, Shakespeare.
Thou needs bigger rockets.
Yeah, like the whole the premise. The
I
whole
understand,
premise
though.
was
It's
just
just real
it was
dumb.
just silly, but it wasn't to the silliness of like you could laugh at it and it was a good time. It was kind of teetering on the edge of that, but if it was going to do that, it needs to be self-aware, and I don't think this movie was self-aware enough.
I have a question.
Go for it.
It might be the most important question. What would be the name of your Jaeger?
Ding dong.
I'm trying to remember because they're kind of.
Ding
Well,
dong.
originally in the first film, all the Jaegers are named after. There's like a Jaeger for each country or each nation. I can't remember why Gypsy Danger, what specifically Gypsy Danger is named after in America, but
Gypsies and
Danger.
danger.
Yeah, I was going to go with Yobo
dangerous
Trouble.
gypsy. Yobo
I
Trouble.
was like, what are we? We're like,
Yeah. Bogan Strife.
what would be the gimmick? What would be the hook gimmick of your giant robot? What would it be able to do?
He'd throw beer bottles at the kaiju.
Mine is going to be called the anime, and it's called that because it can do Kamehamehas.
Just call it Goku and be done with it.
It's called that because every time it gets into a fight, it deliberately doesn't finish the fight so it can draw the fight out for another 10 episodes.
It stands for
And
10
it runs
episodes.
with both hands
It's
outstretched behind them.
Lovely.
All right, Angus, you had a thing to finish us all up.
I'm pretty happy with that.
I did like my way to mind drift that I did before, which is on 3, both you and Brodie.
I feel like that could go downhill very bad.
Well, let's find out without getting. So this will be
Without
being-
getting crass.
without too many profanities.
Okay.
I'm gonna count to 3, and after 3, you both have to say something. And if you say the same word at the same time, you have mind drifted. I'll give you
Alright,
3 goes.
okay.
If
No,
not,
we only get one shot.
one shot.
We only get one shot. This is it.
I will.
Okay, I'm staring into Angus's eyes.
Yeah. I mean,
We're-
It's very romantic. I feel like I should leave the room.
The lighting is dimmed.
Are you both ready? Are we ready?
Let's okay.
On 3.
okay.
1, 2.
On 3 or after 3?
Yeah.
After 3.
After
so
3.
1, 2, 3, go.
Then go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we?
Anyway,
Are we
yeah.
ready, gents?
We are ready.
To see if you
After
can
3.
see if you can create your mind connection. 1, 2, 3.
Pizza.
Damn it.
Thank you for listening to the Film Size Podcast. You can find us on
Twitter.
and
YouTube.
YouTube and iTunes.
MySpace. Not MySpace.
Not iTunes. Wait, yes.
Yeah, iTunes.
Please listen to us on iTunes.
Definitely iTunes.